Okay, hey friends, my name is Sean, and this is product design with Sean. And what I'm doing here, I want to introduce you to an app I've been working on. So my background, I've been a designer for about 25 years now, digital design, web design, brand design, digital agency. Last 10 years or so, UX and product design, digital software design. And so the beautiful thing I've been playing around with a lot lately is obviously vibe coding and using a coding agent. I'm using Codex here to jump in and help me actually build the ideas. You know, it used to be where you would you have the idea, and you had to either find like a technical partner, a developer who would help you, actually bring it to life and make it happen, which was always tricky and hard to do. And I tried, man. And I did have some projects that were fun, and we did some cool stuff together. But that was always like, attention. Or you had to know how to do it yourself. One of the rare designers who could do both. And there's some unicorns out there for sure. That was not me. I remember dabbling with code and just several times just being like, oh, that is not how my brain works. So anyway, the beauty over the last year or so, maybe even 6 months for me, has been just having an idea, and as a designer having a vision for what that product experience would feel like, what that user experience would feel like. But now you're able to not just create that in Figma screen by screen, like in a design program, and then hand it off to an engineer, hopefully, or hire someone, hire an engineer. Now you can actually take that thing and turn that Figma or even just the idea into a real working app. So that's what we're looking at here. This is an app. The name I've been calling it for now is called Neat, N-E-A-T, as in cocktail. Neat. I believe neat is when you have no ice, just like straight, I think. Bourbon, neat. Anyway, that's what we started calling this. Me and my coding agent, Codex here. We've been working on this probably about 3 weeks now, maybe almost 4 weeks. On and off, at nights, weekends, in my free time. After hours, sort of just fun project. And it's been cool because it's not just design or Figma, it's actually this is an app. You can see here, this is running in a simulator. This is an iOS app, meaning it's built to run on all Apple devices, mobile devices. And it's being built with Apple's own software right here called Xcode. This is Xcode. This is what, if you know how to code, this is where you would use this application to actually write the code that creates an iOS app. So that's what you're seeing here, which is crazy. I don't really know, honestly, what most of this means. Like 90% of this, 80% of this is, I don't know. This is like, but this is crazy over here. Look at this. This whole side right here is just the code from, I guess, I don't know if this is my whole project or just this file, but you can see it grow over time. Week by week, it's getting larger, which is kind of just cool to see. Anyway, this is Codex. I'm gonna move this over. This is what I use to write the code in Xcode. So Codex is writing code to Xcode, but I just use my normal language. I just type or speak. I share my Figma designs. I share ideas. I get feedback as a product person on shaping the product experience. And it's been amazing because, like I said, it's just fun. It's like you're bringing it to life. I don't know. It's like you still need to be able to play with toy trains, and now you can imagine and create like a real train on a track that can be in real life. It's crazy. It's really, really fascinating and fun, and it's got me hooked. I feel like I tinker in the garage. I've never been a handy guy building, and I don't know, I'm not a DIY guy, but this feels like what probably that feels like, to have fun and hang out and tinker in your garage, and it's been super fun. So anyway, all that to say, this is an app I've been working on called Neat. It's an app based around the idea of cocktails, and the premise is that you could scan a menu at a restaurant or a bar, scan the cocktail menu, and based on your taste preferences, it would recommend top 3 or 5 or suggested cocktails that you might want to check out, which is really, I thought, really fun. I used to do it on my own, just using ChatGPT on my phone. I would take a picture and I told them I like this cocktail, I don't like this and this, and based on that, it would give me pretty good suggestions. And so I just had this idea, this fun project. What if I just built sort of a harness or a wrapper around that behavior that is in ChatGPT, so I could use the API and talk basically to the AI, the large language model, and I can use it to help me generate some of this stuff and actually make it come alive, actually like be here in front of us. And so yeah, anyway, the thing I think is cool about this is I'm learning a ton as I go, and I'm learning that the AI is super smart. It's a brilliant coder. It's like the I guess what I'm learning the rhythm of is the back and forth with the tool, the tandemness of working with it, saying things correctly, communicating in a way that it can understand, that I'm clear, knowing how to kind of speak about things, knowing how to describe things, being consistent in language. Just, I don't know, I found like the more context, the more you can shape, the more you can be thoughtful, the more you can plan instead of just ask it to do things, the more you can work together and sort of build a plan and sort of generate a little bundle and then send it. That's been a really good rhythm for me as well. Anyway, I think I'm off topic again. what I was trying to say, this cocktail app has been fun because the idea is you scan it, you get recommendations. I mean, if you think about this too, it's not really about economics, but if you're a cocktail person and you have 1 or 2 or 3 bad cocktails a year, that's $15 each, $20 each. I don't know, it adds up quick. So imagine you could just scan it and have some confidence, and even just maybe a description, sort of a match. Here's what you should keep your eye on. So that was the idea, to sort of build a wrapper around the AI behavior. And so it's been fun. It's I'll give you a quick tour here. So this is the simulator. When you launch, this is sort of the library. Usually it kind of looks like this. These are all the drink cards you've had. So in this case, this was called the Lovely Rita. I had it on this date at this ramen bar, and I rated it as liking it. So it kind of creates a little journal. This is JP Thomas Tiki. I don't know, it's got truncated. This is a bug here. See, this is the fun part. As you go through, you find all these little things you got to fix. Write that down. Right, update that. Actually, I'm gonna grab a screenshot of this right now. Just do it while I'm thinking about it. Copy, and I'm gonna paste this right in here and ask. We'll just tell it that words are being truncated. Need to fix. All right, we'll take a look at that. And that should be a pretty easy, quick fix. One thing I should say about this is, if you're interested in following along, this sort of works in cycles, almost like a turn-based game, if you will, where you get your set of commands and you can kind of like fire them off, and then the machine, the thought, or the thinker, the expert is going to go and do their thing, and then it comes back. So it's sort of this prompt and return, this sort of, I don't know, back and forth rhythm, especially so when working with like Xcode, which is what we're doing. Every time we make a change, it has to write the actual code and then build that app actually in Xcode before it can then push it to the simulator that we're seeing here. And that's when I get to see it and actually give feedback on it. So there's sort of a time-based loop to it that it just, yeah, you just got to kind of get used to it. So that's sort of what we're in now. So it's thinking. You can see here it's saying thinking. It's telling what happened. The current title splitter just cuts the name into 2 halves. Yep, that's what we're seeing. And it says it's fixed it, identified it, fixed it, and it's building it now. So this usually just takes a quick second. Sometimes a minute. I don't know. And I found that it goes in rhythms too, which is interesting. Sometimes it feels really fast and it's like zippy, and some nights it feels like it struggles a little bit, which is weird. Okay, build past, installing updated build, and checking the overlay issue. All right, so we'll let this load. It will reset. As you can see here, the simulator is refreshing. You'll see the app build right here and install. Just a second, and then we can go back to that screen, double check it, and make sure it's looking right. Okay, it launches. Yep. All right, so is this card here? Let's click on it. JP Thomas Tiki Copper. Okay, so better because nothing's truncated. So we made progress there. But I don't like the J and the P being that weirdly separated. It doesn't just feel like natural. So we'll ask it to fix that. And then I think we're good on this card for now. First best limit, but the title now breaking more aggressively. I'm tightening the primitive one more notch. Long titles get a slightly smaller space, so names like JP Thomas can stay together when there's room. Oh, interesting. So sometimes what's interesting about it is it will take a screenshot like it did here. You can see this is a screenshot, and it kind of reviews it, and it's noticing on its own self that, yeah, this is better, almost like we did. This is better, but it's not quite right. So it tells us what it sort of discovered, and it's going to give an attempt to fix it itself. So we'll see what it does. Sometimes it gets it right, sometimes it doesn't. So we'll just let it kind of cook here for a minute. Okay, here we go. Simulator is open. Let's click on JP Thomas. Okay, yeah, I think 3 lines does feel better. JP Thomas, Tiki Copper Pot, I guess, but the JP is still not right. So see, it looked at this again and says, I fixed that, so I think we're good here. And it did initially fix what we asked, which is the truncation removal. So let's just tell it the letters J and P seem very oddly distant from each other. Does not look natural. So this is how I usually like to prompt, and just in my normal sort of default human language. And I think I'm a very visual feeling designer, so a lot of my words are feeling. A lot of my not my commands, but my prompts are feeling sort of. It doesn't feel like this, or I need it to feel more like this, or yeah. So you got to find your own way. I guess that's what I'm saying. Find your way to prompt. You can be technical if you want. You can do whatever you need to do, but this is the way that I found that works pretty good for me. And again, lets me just be present and natural, you know, instead of having to like speak in a, I don't know, certain cadence or weird sort of posture. Okay, so I found the culprit. Long open card titles still had positive tracking, and at this oversized display scale, that exaggerates the space around single letter initials. Okay, almost like double spacing was being put in, which is interesting. That should address the odd spacing without the drink change name itself and rebuilding. Okay, build is open. Let's click here. Yeah, that feels much more natural. I mean, it's still, I guess, maybe a little weird because I think maybe the initials is what's missing, the J and the P. I don't know. I mean, there has to be spacing, I guess, because I'm reading it. I know it's JP, right? JP Thomas, but if you didn't and those were different letters, you would just think that was the word. So, okay, I get it. The spacing feels right. That card looks good. We got that fixed. So you can see right there, that's a loop. That's a whole loop to fix that one card. And that was sort of just a bug I found along the way of my tour to you. So anyway, let me show you how this really works. So you can scan this here. This would be, on the app, imagine, or on a real device, this would be the camera view. So you'd be pointing this at a menu, and you can also upload from your phone gallery, photo gallery. That's what we'll do here. I have a bunch of menus I put in that I just grabbed from Google Images. So they're just from random restaurants, all different types. So I will just pick, let's pick this one here, and we'll have it go and read this and give us a suggestion or two. So I already have my taste profiles. When you start, there's an onboarding. It's usually like 8 to 10 questions, and it sort of has you go. It goes through drinks right now and says, "Do you like this? Would you ever order this?" And basically like a 5-level scale. And so that's how we start to establish your taste profile. So that's where these results are coming from. Is my onboarding. Okay, so the results are in. This is we won't hit this yet because we're not done. But this debug is just in here so we can see how the results of connecting with the API gone. How long did things take? Where are these preferences, or what are these cards preference based off of? Local selection, how many scored candidates, all this stuff that is helpful. And then we can later go back and use some of this. We can tell the AI to go through several of the last, say go through the last 20 or 30 scans as we've been testing, and it will start to track what's improved, what's gotten worse, what we need to pay attention to, what might be leaking, what might be off a little bit. It will analyze it in 2 minutes, which is pretty amazing to help dial this in. So that's sort of been also what's taking longer than I thought, is I spent probably a week and a half just dialing in the prediction, and again, it's just based on me and my preferences, but I would look at a menu and say, what really would be my top 1, 2, or 3 here that I think, my best guess that I would enjoy or love. Or if it's ones that are my old favorites, I'd say, yeah, of course I would get that on this menu. And then I try to give all my taste preferences to the app, which I'll show you in a second. You can adjust and input. And then I would test and just sort of go back and find that tension. Is it getting closer? Why is it not getting closer? And so I think I got it pretty closely dialed in. Sometimes it'll throw me a wild card. So I think, I know there's still some work to do there, but we have come a long way. I will say that. So anyway, okay, let's take a look at our results. So I think also what I'm going to do here, I'm going to pack these in I'm going to basically put these like in a wallet sleeve. So these cards feel like they're sitting sort of in a sleeve like I did on the prior screen. I'll show you that in a second as well. I just think that might be a nice reveal. And then when you click, they sort of come out maybe of the sleeve like that. But anyway, okay, this is saying our top pick from what we just scanned is a XXX sour, vodka, bourbon, passion fruit, bright acid, herbal finish. And this side rail text here is supposed to be basically, the idea is that it's the essence of the drink. If you could put the whole drink down into maybe 3 or 4 words, what would those words be? And so this is saying passion, bourbon, sour. Okay, so this one feels like it's bright and sweet and fruity, which, yeah, that does align. I would like that probably, I'm sure. So the next one, also great, the Ichimas, lemon, seltzer, reposado, tequila, bright, acidic, light body, herbal. Ooh, yeah, I would like this actually. Tequila spritz, lemon seltzer. Yeah, I would definitely like this. So I know that's a great pick for sure. And then the wild card. This is sort of the idea here, is that maybe here's one that's a little past your boundary, but you might actually enjoy. So maybe worth taking a look at. This one's called Above Ground Pool, Mango Cordial, Patron, lightly sweet, tingly Sichuan. Yeah, I mean, it feels kind of right on that edge. Like, I'd probably be interested in this, but maybe not. feel safe ordering it. So it is a wild card. I think these are really actually great picks. This is a screen here. I think I got a lot of work to do and figure out what I need to do here, what this is trying to do. But the idea here is like, you could, the cards, the drinks that you have get recorded as the cards we saw in your journal. And this would be like, hey, I had a drink here called, in this example, maybe Cruise Control. So I still want to record that even though it wasn't one of the cards presented to me. Anyway, you can see that's even blank. I don't even know if that's going to stick around. I'm not sure if that will make it through the process, but we'll see. We'll see what happens with that. I think there's something there. I just don't think it's quite what it is yet, if that makes sense. Okay, let's continue. This is candy from Japan, by the way. And it's delicious. Some sort of mochi gummy. It's a real treat. Okay. That's how the scan works. This is what I'm talking about as the cards. This is sort of your journal, right? You can see in June I had these cocktails. So these are all the ones I've been testing on. And the idea here, and this part I still don't know how I feel about, but the idea here is this is like after you've scanned something, this is sort of the little collection. This is your scan, so to speak, when you were at Cafe Central in this example. And this is what I'm talking about, the little pocket holder. Do you see how it's like a little wallet? I think we add that to the scan results. Anyway, the idea here is that you could click, and this screen has a ton of work. I don't even like looking at the screen, if I'm being honest. But, oh, I do kind of like some of this, actually. I take that back. I think it's this top. It's throwing me off. Feels like Dunkin' Donuts typography or something. I don't know. Something. Maybe it's this sentence. And the spacing. Okay, but anyway, the idea here is that you could come in, you could say, here's the 3 cards we recommended. Did you order one of these? And it becomes marked as ordered, which means it makes it to your journal, your diary, if you will. So I still don't know about that, though. I just feel like flow-wise, it's not right. Like, I know, this is what I'll say about it. I know it's the right destination. I just think the route we have right now it's not right. So anyway, at least we have the destination. We'll figure out the route, and that's what part of what I do in here. I come in here and, like I said, tinker, and you just try stuff. You just play around and see how it kind of moves and flows. And so anyway, this will be a screen I need to revisit. But look, it would be like this. Let's say I did drink the top pick. I remember I got this drink when I was here, and see, that's not a good. We have this pattern nowhere else. It feels like I don't know. In my opinion, it's not terrible, but like the whole app should go with this sort of palette from the top here. This sort of like duotone palette. That's another thing I'm thinking about. I got a lot of colors in there now, and I started out where they were limited, and the more I've tested. Anyway, here, finish. Good. See, anyway, you'd rank that'd become a card. You can see it's right here now. Well, anyway, I was saying about these cards, the more I've tested this and seen that how some of these are just going to be like, if, for instance, you like a certain type of drink in profile, we're going to suggest that, hopefully, right? And if you pick those often, you're going to have that collection of these yellow cards here, yellow and brown. I don't know. And the more they feel grouped in here, the more I just feel it feels a little heavy. So, I don't know, there's part of me that sees this right here, this dark and light and sort of just limited palette as something that feels, I don't know, I like it. It's a little, I don't know, it just feels interesting to me. Maybe the color is reserved, just, I like these little touches here. So, I'm going to save this right here. I'm going to take a screenshot. And I'm going to just save this to my desktop because I want to remember that. I want to come back and I just think there's some interesting things here. So anyway, we'll say not now here. And what else on the screen? Oh, the other thing is here that we would record what bars you've been at. So you can kind of see your history either by cocktails or bars. And the bars tab would be similar to this. There's some work to do here, but you could come in and basically, this is the original design from 3 or 4 weeks ago. But basically, here's the bar. Here's when you visited. Here's what you got, which is interesting. Some work to do there. And here's the other thing I'm fighting. I feel the tension of is like, this is, they say in product design, if you're not careful, it just keeps growing, you know, the scope of it, scope creep. And I'm experiencing that here because it is fun to do. I enjoy it. So it's kind of like a hobby. So I just keep adding things as I think of them. So I feel like maybe probably not maybe a recommended way of working, but I just kind of lean into what grabs my attention on that particular evening. So we'll see where this takes us, you know? We'll see where this takes us. I think that's sort of the fun of it. Something will catch my eye, and I'll just sort of go down that lane and see, like I said, we'll see where it takes us. Anyway, this system here, I just don't know. I don't know. Maybe my first initial thought is, hey, let's run another scan here. Let's just do this. I'm a customer, and let's say I'm at this restaurant, right? Let's go with this one right here. And now just put yourself in the shoes. You're maybe out with some friends. Maybe it's date night. Maybe you're just hanging out by yourself, but you scan the menu. Oh, okay. Hummingbird. Couple of things. Let's just go through this process. I'm just going to talk out loud as to what I'm seeing here. The idea here that this is your venue. This wouldn't be here, right? This is just for testing. And this, I think there's way too much padding up here if this is going to be the sole button. But the idea of this would escape you out of sort of the pick mode. Moving down to the cards, there's 3 cards. They kind of come bundled. I'm going to wrap them here still in sort of that wallet treatment that we looked at earlier. This is the name of the drink, but I think these are terms or words that sort of evoke in a maybe poetic, descriptive way what this drink sort of feels like. Almost like keywords, maybe. Not keywords, but like, I don't know, just personality words in a sense. But what I'm seeing here as I look at them, I think it's a cool idea. I like sort of the treatment of this. I just think we need to be clear maybe about what those are. So maybe it's onboarding and being clear, like pointing those out with a label or a highlight. Or maybe they need a label here, I'm not sure, but I think they're like sort of abstract enough sometimes. These are pretty descriptive, orange and peach and bright finish, but sometimes, I know, sometimes they're a little evocative, if you will. And so they can be hard to maybe interpret what those are. Anyway, that's something to think about. I really like this typography here. I love how we're doing this. I think it finally feels nice. I battled the typography, I think, for a couple days, and mostly it feels dialed into what I had in Figma. I'll show you that real quick. This is zoom out. This is my Figma stuff that I've been working on here. Oops, my bad. You can kind of see here all just sort of the iterations. I'll go through this more in maybe different videos, but sort of all ideas of how this has started and evolved, and color palettes and how things feel, typography, all that good stuff. So this is Railway, by the way. This big type here. This is Railway, but thinner. This is Railway extra bold. This is semi-bold. And I think we also have another one for, I think right here, I think it's anything with numbers. We're using IBM Plex Sans, which is a really beautiful font. And it's free, Google font. It's in Figma. Thank you, IBM, for a great font. Tons of great choices. Tons of different weights. It's just a really nice one. Anyway, let's get over back to Codex here. Okay. Anyway, back to the card. This, again, is the side rail is sort of the essence in a few words. Bright peach vodka. Okay, it's pretty clear. Okay, so that's the top pick. So let's go to our next one. Also great. Chakmul. Coconut rum, vodka, tropical juice, sweet leaning, and a light body. Coconut, vodka, tropical. Yeah. Chakmul. Tropical rum spritz. The name makes me think of chocolate, but yeah, Chakmul. Yeah, I think that sounds like something I would probably maybe order. I probably wouldn't order it, but it's not out of the range of what I would like, if that makes sense. Wild card, mango tango. Mango, vodka, orange juice, bright, acidic, light, sweet. Yeah, that's probably, I love mango, so that's probably a good wild card choice. And again, back to this card, what are we going to do here? I don't know. But these are basically what we're seeing here is what the OCR, the optical character recognition, picked up from looking at that menu. These are the things it pulled as drinks that were on that menu. So I don't know if we need this even. I don't know if this will persist. The idea also was that you could type in something else. Like I just ordered a old fashioned, right? That wasn't even on the menu. Actually, oops, if I can spell it right. I've never actually, embarrassingly, to say on camera, I've never actually gone through this flow yet. So I'm hoping what should happen here is it should create a card when I log this. But I've never done it on a manual entry, and so I'm curious, what color will it be? Will it have keywords like the other cards do? Like what actually happens? Usually, I will tell you before I push this button and we find out together, I will tell you it's usually not great. The AI is smart, but it takes a lot of, this is what I found, it takes a ton of massaging, if you will. Like, again, maybe this is just the way I do it because, you know, everyone's figuring this out as we go. But for me, it just takes a ton of back and forth. And like I said earlier, learning to be really clear. But what we're going to see here, my expectations are low, not because it isn't capable or smart, but if I've not been descriptive of it, it usually won't take it there yet, if that makes sense. So anyway, let's see what happens. I had an old fashioned, none of these drinks. I want to log it. I click log. Yeah, boy. Told you. I told you what neighborhood we were going to before we entered the neighborhood. So let's write that down. Take a screenshot there as well. And we'll save this. It's not, like I said earlier, I'll save this to the desktop. Because as interesting as this is, I just don't feel like it's something I want to deal with right now or think about. It's like not feeling exciting to me. It's feeling like, I'm not vibing with that. So anyway, though, it is cool to see what happened and to know there's some work that needs to happen there. And again, on a product level sense, like I'm not going to go there tonight additionally because I don't even know if this whole card's going to stick around. Will this even be here? Is this something that needs to be here? I'm not sure yet. So we'll decide that first before we kind of polish this out, if you will. Okay, so I think going through this flow, my question I ask myself is, what would I do? I'm at a bar and I scan this. Here's my results. I've read through them. Say the top pick. Sounds great. Hummingbird. What would I do at a restaurant now or a bar? Let's just talk through it. Probably, maybe, just close my phone. Oh, yep, Hummingbird. That's it. Sounds great. I'm ordering. What are you getting? I'm getting Hummingbird. What are you getting? I'm getting the old fashioned. Okay. In that case, the app's done. Either it gets swiped out, it goes to the background, it's out of the picture. So the flow sort of stops there. There's nothing else to do. There's nothing else that can be done. Another option is there some sort of button or affordance or action or something here that allows the user to mark it as ordered or a thumbs up or this was a good pick. I do like this. This does sound good. Or you imagine getting one in here that sounded terrible. Like maybe, you know, it had something nasty in it that you know you don't like, egg whites or I don't know, whatever it might be. You would want to maybe give the feedback of, no, this was not a good pick. I didn't order it and or it was thumbs down on the suggestion. Hopefully we get this baby tuned in where you know, that doesn't happen very often. But anyway, I guess my bigger question is what needs to happen here? I have a done up here, which I feel is pretty lame. That just got added today as I was messing around with this earlier. So that's a new addition that I don't even feel really that great about. This got added yesterday. This is the venue because when you're in the diary and there's no one, we want to be able to show you by bar, right? Remember you can view your history by cocktails and you can view it by bar. To have that bar side, we need to know where you're at. So I first tried doing OCR on the menu, but it's super inconsistent. It didn't work very well. Some menus don't even have the venue or restaurant name on it, so that wasn't a good option. So using GPS here, this is using just sample data. I think iOS puts in there, or Xcode, I'm not sure, but so the idea here is that hopefully, you know, we get pretty close and accurate, and 90% of the time what you see here is the venue and you don't even have to touch this. You know, it just gets recorded. Another option is, oh, it's not here, but it's probably one of the 5 or 6 places that we know are you're nearby one of these, you know. So hopefully that knocks out the other 9%, leaves us maybe 1% to have to type something manually. I'm just making up those numbers, but ideally that's what I would like this experience to be. So I don't know if that's even where this should live. I don't know. There's a lot to do here. Again, back to the colors too. I'm just thinking about the colors. These are sort of determined by sort of the flavor of, I think my instructions to Codex was to basically, what would a human think this drink feels like in a color? And so I think it's taking keywords from the description and sort of a sense of the actual color of the drink and sort of making a call on that. And also it's set to have sort of a coherent color palette and to not hopefully reuse colors. I think I put that in yesterday. I remember, I don't know if it actually got pushed, but it's looking like it's not reusing colors anymore. So that's a good idea. I think it feels better in that way. Yeah. Speaking of colors, I think maybe, I don't know, maybe we try a version that's all these bold colors become maybe subtle accent colors, and the app is maybe a bit more mono or duotone in a sense. I don't know. I think it could be actually kind of nice. It would be really nice to have that, and you could switch easily in that case between dark mode and light mode, which I think might be kind of cool as well. So I don't know. There's this. I gotta decide some stuff. And again, I still don't know what to do with this screen here. What would I want to do? My worry is just like give them a button to market, but like maybe I'm thinking of a hummingbird or the mango tango, right? I don't know. When it's my turn to order, okay, I'll place an order. I think that's how I might be. So I'm not going to instantly have a response when I see these cards, if that makes sense. I'm not going to always, let's get rid of this. I'm not going to always just instantly be like, yep, I'm getting the check mule, mark it, stamp it. I don't think it's always going to be like that. So that's the idea here. Let me just say done here. That's the idea. That's exactly what this represents here. Is that the next time you open the app, we say, hey, remember when you were at Cafe Central last Tuesday at 11:43 p.m.? It's funny. I don't know if we need all that specific timestamp, but anyway, here's your opportunity to rate and review that. So here's the 3 picks we recommended. That's what these colors represent, and they're being held in this little wallet. You open them up, and again, here's that screen that is a little bit almost inverted, right? The accents are just the subtle sparks here. The colors are the accents, I mean, instead of the dominant, which I kind of like in a way. I know it's growing on me for sure. Anyway, this is, do you do this later, right? So it would be the next time I'm out, I open and I see this. So I don't have to worry about it that night at the restaurant. But will I want to do it later? And also, like, what if you don't do it for 5 times? This is what this history button is here. This needs some work. You can see it's not even spaced out properly. Let's just fix that right now, actually. Let's do some coding instead of just me talking. I was trying to give a good tour and set this up, but let's actually just do some stuff here. Apologize, that was a lot of rambling. Okay, so you can tell the screen right away. I'm seeing here like 31 menu screen scans in the last day as I've been testing. But the idea is here, like, do you have to come into all of these now and like processes? Like, this shouldn't feel like work, but you should also try to get a journal capture. All right, why journal capture? I'll tell you why in a second. Why does that even matter? I'll tell you why I think it's important. And you can tell me maybe it's not. Maybe I'm overthinking it because I don't know. Anyway, okay, let's tell about this here. Let's say these card stacks feel way too tightly packed together. Good night, love you. Sleep good. Yeah, and then before I send this, I want to look around and send a bundle of instructions. So that's what I'm doing now. I'm just thinking through this page because, again, there's that loop. And I've learned that if you send one sort of request like this, sometimes it comes back quick, but usually it takes about the same amount of time as if you stack about 5 or 6 of these at one packet. So I've learned to bundle them up and then throw them over, let it be chewed out, and then come back to me, and it takes about the same time. So that's why I've learned to be a little bit more patient on this side of it and just think through the instructions of this page. So to review, that means all these to review. Wait, was there a break there somewhere? Like a pass scans. See, so it's breaking it up. Pass scans 10, which is hard to see, right? And to review. So I'm just going to mention that. I won't propose a solution, but I'm just going to tell it that the to review label and past scans label are hard to notice. Especially when to review has a high number of stacks. Okay. So I think it should come back with something better than this, that's for sure. And that's another thing. Sometimes I don't always have like the distinct idea. Sometimes I'll go and I'll bring inspiration and I'll drop in screenshots and I'll tell it, here's what I want this to be, or let's mimic this, or here's my Figma file. Sometimes I just know it's not right. And that's sort of some of the fun of this too. It feels a bit game-like in a way, I think, because it's like you're creating this as you go. So it's like, it's not so deterministic of you just deciding. It's like you almost, I mean, not almost, you have this partner that's proposing things as well. And then you just use your taste. You just use your love energy. You shape the product in the way that you know feels right. But you have this really interesting partner to kind of start ideas and to start to riff off some of them. So I think that's fun. I think that's really the part that feels like I don't know, like a nice feedback loop, you know, which is why probably why I've sat here for many hours late into the night. So it's 12:01 right now. So anyway, I love to do it though. That's the thing. And really, that's why I wanted to I've never screen recorded ever. I've been a designer for, I think, 25 years, 26 years, and I've never once done a screen recording of designing until this actual one right here. And I think it's because I'm super stoked on it. It brings me a lot of life right now. I don't know, I just find it really interesting and maybe empowering, like I said earlier, that you can actually ship this. Like, this is an app that's going to be in the App Store. I don't know, maybe it's 2 weeks out, maybe it's a month out, but I'm getting this into the App Store. Think about that. I'll tell you more about the business model and my pricing later. I've had, Claude help me with the business model and sort of the price points and distribution ideas and all kinds of stuff like that. So anyway, it's been super fun. It's been super fun to work on this, and yeah, that's why I wanted to share this. So, okay, back to the screen. The done feels like a weird label as well. Like, I think we have that one other place, but I'm not loving it. The more I see that, just done doesn't, I don't know. I think back might just be better, or close. Done feels like that does not match the voice of Neat, which is the name of our app. Sometimes I just, in that abstract, like, hey, this just doesn't feel like it fits, you know? I want to check one thing. I'm seeing a log, which feels very redundant. Why do we need that? I don't think we probably do. So I want to go down and see, are there ones that are past scans here? Oh, I see, yeah. So it says logged, so the pill changes. Logged. I don't mind it down here, I guess. I don't know. And that's another thing. Like, let me just pause here. Do we want this to be a place that you come and log your stuff? I don't know. Like, I'll look in. It starts to feel like work, and I want it to feel effortless and easy. So, all right. Anyway, I think that's enough for now. We'll just leave the log alone. I don't think it's... I am going to remove it. Scan 1 of 21. See, that just feels like work. Who's going to want to come in here and do this? Who's going to even remember? So that brings me back. We need to do it in real time. Anyway, let me send this over the fence. We got enough here. Let me send it over to my partner Codex and let him work on that. The screen will be much better in just a few minutes. You'll see. Okay, I'll tune this in the scan history sheet itself. More vertical breathing room between stacked cards. Yep, stronger section labels. Thank you. And a closer, neat style dismiss action than done. Appreciate that. I'm going to inspect the sheet card. Primitives first. Okay. Which I appreciate. That's one thing. It says I'm going to check the primitives first, so this lands as a shared component, not as a one-off screenshot patch. I think that's really important. It's part of the instructions. I put in Claude.md, which is sort of just a text file that you share with Claude when you're working with Claude or Codex. I forgot what it's called in Codex, but it's basically just a markdown file. It's just text of instructions. And one of the main ones I always put in there is when we are building things in the product, when we're designing things, do it in a way that is a component, meaning it can be shared over and over. Like, don't just fix this one screen because we're on this screen and talking about it here. No one-off fixes. And it's important because you want all your fixes to ripple out. You want to be consistent going forward. You want a component that uses and looks the same way to be fixed when we fix it here on, the 3 other screens it appears on. So it's been really important. And if you don't tell it that, I've found it won't do that. So that's one of my clear instructions. All right, this is already coding. So when you see this pop up, this is saying, hey, here's the lines of code I've written, 51. Here's 20 that I've taken out or edited out. The main sheet now is clear. Headers. Okay, so it's gonna Yep, it's going to build it. So it's done. It's done things. It's going to build this. If Xcode says it passes, then it's going to run the app here, and we'll see what this feels like. I don't know. I just think also I just got some things to figure out. You know, like if there's the soul of the thing is here. It's just I don't know. I wish I had more of that candy. That's what I do know. It's delicious. Japan just does things right, by the way. I was there last month, and so I'm sort of on a Japan high. I love Japan. I'm going back to Japan. Okay. This color palette actually just feels nice. It feels like fall a little bit here. Just by the way. But let's take a look here. What history feels like. Okay. Well, yeah, I think that's better. Definitely better. They're spaced out better. Which feels good. It just feels like a lot. Like I just opened a filing cabinet. I don't know. So when you click on any of those stacks, you get this view again. I don't know. I gotta think about this. Huh. So yeah, Codex is sort of like, sometimes it does this, I just stop it. It's trying to get a screenshot, and then I'll click through and it will get the wrong screenshot, and then it sets off on a little side quest. It gets confused. So again, it's like working with this brilliant partner, but sometimes it can take a tangent. So it's a lot of focusing it, bringing it back. Look at this, think about this, let's work on this. And that's why I think a product sense is really, really helpful. Like designing digital software products, it's my passion. I love it, and I've done it for about a decade now. And it just thinking through that product sense, I think I'm so grateful to have that, because I know where to push back. I know where to, at least what I feel. I know, like for me, what feels right for me. I know where to push back. I know where to focus. Hopefully, most of the time, anyway. I don't know about this screen. I really don't. Let's get out of here. Close. Yeah, it's better than done anyway. I really like this view here. You can see in Figma, this is one of the early views that I worked on, because I just thought it was I just thought it was cool. Here's the card stack I originally started to work on. The idea here is these are like rating up, rating sort of like mid, and then rating somewhere. I have a down one, down here. But I don't know. This view I do like. There's something compelling about it, and that's what we're seeing here in this simulator. So we're not too far off from our design here, which is pretty cool. This dodging though, I will say, this hamburger menu has morphed into the history menu, and again, I don't know if that will stay. Oh, and the idea here is to add a cocktail. Yeah, I don't know about that either. Let's go back to Codex. The idea here is that you could click add and you could log a drink. Here's what I ordered at this bar, and I rated it this. But again, you know what? The more I think about this, it's like, the more it feels like it's detouring from what it is. Does that make sense? What this really is as a product. It's a drink recommender. It's like a quality assurance. It's a really smart guide at the bar. Really, it's like one of your really good friends that you're hanging out with at the bar, and he or she is super smart about cocktails, and they know you and they know your taste, and they're like, oh, trust me, on this menu of 30 drinks, you're gonna want to pick this one, or maybe this one. That's basically what I want this app to do. It's interesting. Sometimes you just say it out loud and you just hear yourself say it. Like, I've loved working on this, and I'm not saying this is done or we have to do a hardcore pivot, but I am feeling maybe what I just said is what we should be doing. Like, I don't know. So what if it's just that simple? Hey, my name is Norman. I'm your bar friend advisor. Take a picture. Here's what you love. Boom, boom, boom. I don't know. I don't even know why. That feels catchy in my mind, and it feels. I guess it's sticking to me, and I'm sitting with it for a minute. Because as I forward think, I feel like you think of making changes, which you don't mind, because this is fun and I love it. And I want this to be a fun, cool product that really makes it. That's like a delight to use. That's what I'm doing here. Like, I'm spending the time to put in love energy to feel it, so that when someone else picks it up to use it, it feels delightful. And you can tell when you're working with something like that, when you're using something like that, you can tell. I can anyway, and I think everybody can. And that's my pursuit. That's my goal for this. So there's part of it when you look back and you know you got to do a pivot of a lot of stuff you've already built and spent a lot of hours. It's bittersweet, but more sweet because it's fun to do. But you do just realize, oh, that was 7 hours of going down a lane. But you learned a way not to do it, and you learned a way to make it better. So it's all part of the process. It's just how it works. It's like you just keep kind of shaping it and carving it. But yeah, the more I think about this right here, log a drink, like now we're a drink journal app. Now we're a drink diary. That's not, I thought it would be cool to keep a history. I think it just popped in my head. Like, what if after you got what if you kept a log? That'd be cool. What if you inverted that whole thing? What if there wasn't a log at all? What if there was no log and almost like a vanishing photo, right? In social media app. Like, what if you had, I don't know, 24 hours or 30 minutes, some set time to go in and basically like, touch it. I ordered this, save this, add this to my journal. I don't know, something like that. Here's what I got and add it to my journal. If you do that, then maybe. If not, it's gone. Just, you don't have any sort of history. I don't know. Maybe even just cleaner than that. Maybe there's no save. Maybe just you scan when you click the next or done or whatever button not to kind of move off that screen. When you exit that flow, it's done. That would be the most efficient version. I don't think efficient always means the best experience, though. That's for sure. Like, I don't know. There is something to say for it, though. There's no doubt about that. You're at a bar, you just want to know what to order. Bam. Here's your top picks. Trust me. Like, if it was super sparse almost, super simple, but super accurate, that would be a delight to use. I also think there's a visual way to do this that makes it more delightful. Like maybe it's not super sparse. Maybe it's a variation or a branch or a treatment of what we have going here of like, card based. You can tell from early on I was drawn to that. But the rating and the collecting, that's the part. So I don't know. Like, I feel like you just sort of lose this. If, this view, if it just scans and here's your 3 suggestions, super efficient, you lose this, which is sort of a bummer. What am I not thinking about? I don't know. One thing I think I'll try is maybe plan mode. So you can backslash, actually that's / and then plan, or that's the command. So you can enter that, or you can just click here, either way. You can see now down here it's in plan mode. So sometimes this is just good where you can just go in and ask, like, what the hell are we doing here? Like literally, what are we trying to do? Why are we on the screen? Help me think through this. Sometimes you can just, as a designer, just think about and stare at this stuff a little too long. So I don't know. Let's just ask Codex to give us some thoughts. Like, not sure I am loving the overall vibe of the app. Oops, let me stop that because it's going to start answering. Let me edit that. I'm going to add some more. Not sure I'm loving the overall vibe of the app. Love the promise of quick, trusted drink Rex. I do love that part. Okay. Not sure about the art or visual style. Could see something sparse and super minimal or monotone, or even unique, like text only or something. I don't know. I think there's some ways to explore there. So we'll just seed it with some ideas. All right, not sure I'm loving the overall vibe of the app. I love the promise. I like the soul, right? Let me just even say that. The soul. Again, spend some time here is my recommendation, because this is where you're going to throw it back over the fence, right? You're going to throw it over for it to get some work done on it, and you want to give it as much context. The more you shape this, the more you spend time here, the better your results are, and which means the faster you can go. You don't have to keep bouncing it back 7, 6, 8, 5 times. I mean, I've done some of the, I feel like to me are the simplest things, and I'm just not communicating right, or it's not understanding, or again, I swear sometimes it has bad days. There's slow days. I don't know if that's a network issue. I don't know if that's processors are busy. I'm not sure. Some days I swear I do feel it though. Anyway, all that to say, spend some time here. So I'm not sure. I'm loving the soul. I love the soul. I'm not sure I'm loving the vibe of the app. Not sure about the art, visual style. Could you say sparse? Yes, okay. Also, journal and log is interesting, but was a side quest that became 50% of the product. Like, for real. Again, I'm going to add a little more. This is one thing I've learned. This sentence right here, if I don't add to this a little bit, I'm pretty sure this will be taken as this is interesting, but this was a side quest that became 50% of the product. It would say, yep, you're right. That was side quest was a distraction. We're scaling that back and I'm ripping it out. Like, it would instantly sometimes jump to that. I've seen it do that more often than not. So I'm going to add a little bit here to give it a little bit more context, a little bit more. Also, I just remembered I am in plan mode, so it's not going to do any of that initially, but still I'm going to give it more context. Plan mode, I don't know if I mentioned it or not. Maybe I skipped through it, but plan mode is where you will let it talk back and forth. It kind of enters, it steps, it's like puts down its coding tools and steps over to more of its like chat assistant, smart tools, processing. And it will help talk through, it will help actually build a plan, and it will ask you questions, which I think is a nice thing to kind of drill in. And that's something I put at the end here. So let me finish this first real quick. I'll show you. Also, journal and log is interesting, but was I sideways? Not. I'm just gonna leave that actually. I was thinking about adding something like, it doesn't mean I want to just throw it out, but I don't know, maybe I do. I almost don't want to type that, so maybe I do want to throw it. I'm just gonna leave that. I did add this little shortcut in my Mac as a keyboard shortcut. You can kind of add your custom shortcuts, and I did this one, which is this. Double £, if I type that on my keyboard, is a shortcut to interview me to understand the goal of this project. So I find that's a nice thing to put at the end of a prompt. And sometimes you can just even say this feature or this app or this book, fill in the blank. Some sort of question like this to say, hey, talk through this with me. So together, you and I can kind of hit the ball back and forth quickly before we go to work on this and we send you down the wrong way. So I think this is a good way. Interview me to understand the goal of this. Let's just leave the last word off. Okay, let's send this and see what we do here. So we're in plan mode, so you're gonna see the responses are gonna be much longer than code mode. Code mode will say, yep, see this, I'll find that file, making the edits. This will usually take a little longer. I'm in the highest model here at high effort. That's actually pretty quick. But you're gonna see it's gonna chew on this for a minute and give us some feedback. And it's a really good product thinker. It's a really good engineer. So you get some really helpful responses. I mean, think about sitting across from like a really good product team. Like you get to bounce. Let's go to the whiteboard is basically what I just said. Let's go to the whiteboard because we got something here, guys, but it's not totally right, So I think that's where we're at here. I hear the bigger product question. The core promise still feels alive, yes, but the current visual system and journal weight may be pulling the app away from that soul. I'll interview you like a product design reset, and I'll ground the questions in what the app actually is today. Okay, let's jump into the questions. What is the primary moment Neat should be designed around? At the menu, before going out, after the drink. At the menu, obviously. I noticed too, it's fun as I work in here, you get to see updates almost daily. And one of the ones I noticed over the last, I think maybe week or so, is these tooltips. Also this question sort of UI here, which I love. because it lets you quickly respond, but also like, you know, type in something manually if you want something way off base, something that they don't recommend. But one of the things I loved, this started in Claude. Claude had this for maybe almost a year, I feel, before Codex had it, but now Codex has it, and it's a nice UI treatment. Anyway, what I was going to mention is that I noticed these tooltips, these little info icons, and it gives you a little more context, like what they mean about each option. So like before going out, like, what do you mean by that? It means it helps you prepare, learn your taste, and enter the night with confidence. No, definitely not that. After the drink, journal, memory, and learning are central recommendations. With the recommendation, well, I do like the recommendations improving over time. I think that is a huge benefit of the learning. But is that the primary moment Neat should be designed? No, at the menu. So let's click that and continue. What should journal become in the next product direction? Quiet memory. What do you mean by that? It exists in the background for learning and occasional recall, not as half the app. Maybe. Remove. Logging becomes an optional follow-up, hidden behind scan history or profile. No, I know it's not 3. What should journal become in the next? Well, I guess that's what we're trying to figure out. I don't know I have that answer. Trying to discover that. Not sure yet. Trying to discover that. Okay, so that's me putting my custom answer in. Continue. Question 3 of 3. Which visual direction feels most worth exploring first? Sparse text. Why do you recommend it? Minimal, editorial, high confidence, typography with very little card art. The cards might be going away, people. The cards might be going away. I don't know. I kind of like them, though. I think I've always been drawn to cards. I don't know why. I honestly don't know why I'm drawn to cards, but I do find it's a recurring theme. Okay, which visual? Okay, sparse. Okay, monotone. One restrained palette, more utility product, less. Yeah, that sort of maybe feels right to me. Unique, weird. A distinctive, unconventional interface that may break normal app patterns. Okay, worth exploring first. I'm gonna go monotone system first. All right, so we give it those inputs, and it's going to think and chew on that. Good, that anchors the reset. Neat is primarily an at the menu tool, and the first visual lane to explore is a restrained monotone system. Okay, when Neat feels trustworthy at the menu, what is it mostly doing? Decisive shortlist, taste evidence, risk control. Risk control, it mostly helps avoid bad odors, allergies, dislikes, and expensive mistakes. That's not what I started this to do. So, do you see how this? To me, this is sort of like part of the, almost like a game. The feedback, the input, see what happens. Did that work? What's next? Next level. I don't know. I'm sure there's dopamine kicking in at some level. And I just like product design. I like design, so I don't know. Kid in a candy shop is what I am. Okay, when Neat feels trustworthy at the menu. Okay, it's not 3, no. So what's 2 meaning? It shows why the picks fit you with enough signals to make the recognition feel earned. I do kind of like that, and I think that's sort of what I had in mind when we initially started this. Let's go back to Figma real quick and just see. See, you can tell that was where my head was. You like the shape, but plus a sweet mix pushes this into candy. So it's very much more. It was very much more, yeah, I guess, tailored to your taste, speaking on your behalf almost. I don't know. That feels. I don't know. It does sort of feel like that friend at the bar we described, you know, an expert cocktail friend. Hey, you like this, but this plus this might be too sweet. I don't know. This is it. This is what you do. You sit here and you make decisions and you think about it. You think about it. All right, let's get back to Codex. So, decisive shortlist. What do they need here? It feels like a sharp friend saying these are the 3 with minimal explanation. Yeah. A blend of 1 and 2. It's both of those. I don't want it to just be like, lovely Rita, order it. That's not interesting. Like, it should tell you a little bit why. All right. What should the recommendation result feel like visually? Text first, list. Sparse rank, this was strong type, tidy sales, almost no card illustration. I don't know. One hero, that's sort of where we, that makes one confident recommendation. This is similar to kind of what we have. Well, I guess we have this with the hero card on top. I don't know. Text first list. Yeah, let's try that. See how that goes. How much interaction should Neat ask for while someone is standing at the bar? Almost none. Light tuning, guided choice. Almost none meaning scan, maybe one tap, then answer. Follow-up happens later if it's useful. Yeah, that sounds probably right. Light tuning, let them adjust mood or constraints before the final recs. Oh, that's interesting. Like, maybe your recommendation choices change depending on your mood, the season, the venue, the event type. Huh. That's interesting. I think there's a balance there between, I think there's something to pursue and think about, but I think the balance is making it too complex, Opening the app instead of just hitting one button, scanning a menu, getting a result, and now it's like, now you got to tune how you're feeling, You got to get in check with your inner self. I don't know. I know that's exaggerating, but you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Do you have to decide? It just feels like maybe it's too much. I don't know about that. Make the recommendation moment a short interactive comparison. Guided choice. Make the interactive comparison. Huh. All sounds interesting. Oops. Interesting. Maybe a hybrid. Can you also help me understand what you mean by number 2 and number 3? Okay. We'll send that, give our results or give our input, and then also get some explanation, because I want to pull in that string a little bit at number 2 and 3. I think that's interesting. Totally. Here's what I meant by the interaction levels. Light tuning means the app mostly works from your taste profile, but before or after scan, you add a small to night constraint. Examples: low alcohol by volume, not too sweet, something weird, classic, refreshing, boozy. It should feel like seasoning the recommendation, not filling out a form. I kind of like that. Kind of feel like that is interesting. Huh. Guided choice means Neat asks one tiny comparison after reading the menu. Like, after reading, like tonight, you want, safe, bright, or strange, or show, yeah, I didn't even realize before or after the scan. That's interesting. I just thought you'd do it before, but maybe it's part of the flow and it makes it easy. Yeah, maybe you scan and then the next step are some of these modifiers. And then your results are sort of filtered through that lens. That's interesting. Probably becomes more useful. Also has the benefit of letting the AI API generate and rank all the things it needs to. Right now after you scan, there's a loading sort of time period. We saw that earlier when I gave you the quick demo. I think we can shave that down and make that quicker, but there's always going to be some delay. So it's nice to maybe have those questions or those modifiers, that step, almost be a, from a user experience point of view, from a user's point of view, it would feel almost like no time at all. If you took a minute on that screen, not a minute, but if you glanced at your options there and made a choice or two, that would probably be more than half of your wait time, and then it would feel like it would return so much quicker. So that's a benefit for sure. It's interesting. Two possible directions and lets you steer. I'd frame the likely hybrid as. Oops, what happened to my questions? No, wait, stop. Wait. Yikes! I never saw that before. Maybe because I took too long, huh? Jeez, just took off on me. Neat gives a text first. I'll take the unanswered says provisional, not final instant, plus refined tiny. Okay, no. Please. Sometimes you gotta add a nice please on there. Okay, thinking. Come on. You just had them. Okay, here we go. How much steering, proof, and personality Neat should have? Okay, which hybrid interaction model best matches the soul of Neat? Instant plus refine, meaning what? Show the trusted shortlist immediately? With an optional one-tap mood or refine. So a filter, basically. Here's your results, filter it. I don't know if I love that. It sort of feels typical. Mood before scan. Ask one quick to night mode before processing or showing recommendations. Okay, or what? Read the menu, then ask one steering question before revealing the final answer. Huh. I would say 2 or 3. I know that's probably not super helpful. How much explanation should the text first shortlist show by default? How much explanation? No proof. Now. Maybe. Tiny proof. Yeah, let's go with that. Recommended sharp friend. Yep, we already mentioned this. More opinionated and human with memorable phrasing. Never jokey. I'm gonna go with 2. Just feeling right. We already talked about the friend. Excuse me, I have to sneeze. I apologize. Oh man. Wow. Okay. If Neat adds one steering movement, where should it happen? Yeah, I think try both, because I don't know. For the redesign explanation, what should we assume about journal? De-emphasize it, hide it, reframe it. Reframe it. Journal stays visible, but becomes taste. Memory proof rather than a logbook. Journey, but becomes a taste. Let's de-emphasize it. We'll come back. We'll stay in this lane for now. How severe should the monotone direction be? Warm, minimal. Mostly black, cream, gray with a tiny restrained accent and a soft hospitality. True monotone. Nearly black and white. Very sparse, more tool-like and editorial. Experimental. What if we just tried experimental? It's like, I feel like this is like throwing some recipes in, like a cookie batter. What if we added some extra butter? What if we doubled the brown sugar? I feel like that's sort of what we're doing here in a sense. I'm gonna go with the experimental, just because it will be very stark difference from what we see here, and I think that will be good. Maybe we land somewhere in the middle, but I think the edges will help us, I don't know, sort of explore a different route, get some maybe different perspectives. Okay, let's just continue the questions here. 3 more. Who is the first version of this reset really for? Cocktail curious normals? People who like good drinks but do not know how to parse every menu? It's not really about how. I think it's more about speed. Design, food, taste of food. Cocktail nerds. Huh. I don't know. That's tough. It's not food people. It's not number 2 because I know it's not targeted just for design people, but I do think I want it to be very thoughtfully designed. So hopefully design people like it or are drawn to it. That would be great. Cocktail curious normals. People who like good drinks do not know. I don't think it's mix of one and it's not really a mix of 1 and 3. I would say 1, but a main benefit is speed and it's not just speed, because like what's the rush? You're sitting at a restaurant. It's not just how fast can I do this. I guess it's just like it's speed and confidence. A feeling like, oh, this would be a good pick, because I think that's what I feel sometimes. That's what we're out with friends. They feel sometimes. It's like, oh, I hope this is good. And we've all been there when it hasn't been. That's why I thought this is going to be a fun product, because I'm a cocktail guy. I love making cocktails at home, and I love craft cocktails when we're out, like when a bar really takes it seriously. But we've all had that drink where it's like, oh my gosh, it's just not good. So I think, we can't avoid that altogether, but I think what I would like this to be is the benefit would be like, here's quick recommendations based on what you like. They feel accurate, and you can have confidence that you're going to really enjoy one of these, at least 95% of the time. A couple swings and misses are maybe inevitable. Hopefully not. But generally, I want you to feel like, yep, these are safe, I guess. Feeling confident and safe with my selection when facing down a we'll say a giant cocktail menu. I want to order the drink I will love the most. That's really it right there. I think one thing is interesting about working with this is not only the AI, all the fun, the fast, the speed, the having an expert, smart coder, all the things, but also like the benefit of typing out sometimes, or even just speaking out. Sometimes I'll dictate it, but it helps you process. And I think what I've done just in that last sentence helped me just see. I really want to I don't want to order a drink that sucks. Yes, because that's a bummer, and it might still happen. But no one loves that. But I think that's the smaller part. The bigger part that I feel is that I want to order a drink that I love, and hopefully pick the best one, the one I'm gonna love the most. Not the 8 out of 10, not the 9 out of 10. Help me pick the 10 out of 10 out of these 30 drinks. That's what I want. Okay, let's keep going here. Bam. What should a great neat session make someone feel? I trust this pick. That was fast. It gets me. Huh. I trust this pick, yeah, of course. So it's going to be number 1. And yes, we already said it should feel fast. Yeah, and it gets me, right? Because that's the thing. It has to get me. Otherwise, how does it know that drink out of 30 is my 10 out of 10? Right? It's not just the most popular drink. It's not the best-selling drink. I want it to be based on what you know about me, which is all the details, right? All the dials that I could maybe input. Tell me my 10 out of 10. All right, let's put that in. What should the next concrete work product be? Concept plan. Define the product. Clickable prototype. All right, let's go with the concept plan. You can see this is plan mode, right? A lot of going back and forth, a lot of taking time to just talk it out, as I say. Oh, sometimes it gets fun. It says, that's crisp. The job is not track my cocktails. It's help me confidently order the drink I'll love most from an overwhelming menu. That is crisp. I think that's nice, actually. I'm going to screenshot that because I want to remember that phrase. All right, that's a good one. Journal only matters insofar as it improves that trust over time. Yeah, I agree. One more useful pass, then I can turn this into a decision complete concept plan. All right, cool. One more. Three more questions. What part of the current app vibe most needs to go? Color for card world. It's recommended option. That's funny. Stack candy colored visual language is main thing pulling it off course. Ouch. It hurts a little, not really, but I think it's right. I think it's holding us back. Journal prominence. Well, yeah, that too, though. The copy and labels need to become more direct, less happy, less decorative. I'm going to say 1 and 2. When you say confidence safe, what safety matters most? Taste safety? Avoid feeling dumb, unsure, or slow? No, not that. Avoid wasting money and wrong. Taste safety. Yeah, 1 and 2. I'm sorry, 1 and 3. Okay, what should the final answer optimize for? Best single pick recommended, meaning lead with 1 drink to order, then show 2 backups if needed. Okay. Rank 3, keep the top 3 as the main object, but make it sparse and text first. Okay. Answer in plain language. Order X, backup Y. I don't know. Which is the 5? I don't know. Best single pick. I'm not sure on this one. I'm just going to tell it I don't know, so I might need to see some more options. I don't think it's 1. Not 1. It's not just here's our best pick. Well, what did it say here? With more backups if needed. Yeah, okay. What would I want? I'd probably want to see my top 3. I honestly don't think I want 1. Like, here's your winner. No, I think I want 3. Here's your top 3. And I don't even know if we need to rank those. Like, if I just got, here's your top 3, look through them, let me rank them at that point. Does that make sense? It's almost like I've taken 30 and I've gotten it down to 3. Now, yeah, rank 3. I think not 1. 2 is close, but maybe just a top 3 from 30 on the menu. Not ranked. Not ranked in order, just top 3. Okay. That feels like I think I do best when I actually pause and try to envision, or actually can use, actually take and use the app. I think that's like, there's no replicating that. So sometimes it's just good to pause and just think like, okay, I don't want 1 winner. I want to see a short list. That's what I'm looking for, a short list. A short list, so to speak. Okay, and decision sentence. I'm going to just say number 3 is interesting. Also made me think of decision tree. I don't know why decision sentence made me think of decision tree, which makes me think like, what if we actually exposed like how we made this pick for you? Not sure exactly, but what if we could somehow expose how we made this pick, for how we made these picks, these 3 picks for you. I'm just gonna add a note here, not saying we have to go this way, just thinking out loud. I think it's important to say that, otherwise sometimes it will just take it and run. Not necessarily coding it, but just it will say, okay, we're going that way. So I think this helps it build in a little bit of a buffer of like, oh, let's chat about this a little bit more before we, buy all the land. Oh, okay, jumped into this plan here. It's writing the plan right now. Recenter need around 1 job. Help a cocktail curious person quickly and confidently choose drinks they are likely to love from an overwhelming menu. All right, I'm just going to read through this, and if I need to edit this, because it's probably pretty boring, I'll edit it. But I'm going to just take a minute and just read this so I can get a grasp on what we're doing here, or what's proposed at least. Okay. Yeah, this all looks good. No API changes, interface principles. Basically, just saying, hey, let's change the visual direction. Let's focus more on I trust these picks, and that was fast, and wow, this really gets me, and de-emphasize the journal. So that's all good. We've been saying that. And then it's going to give us a couple options on the steering models before and after, and then 2 answer formats, a shortlist and a decision trace. So I think this will be good. No API changes, interface principles, text first, possibly near text only. So it's going to try some interesting things here. It may be way off, but we'll see what happens. I'm going to say yes, implement this plan. Let's do it. Yeah, we'll see what happens. I think maybe we'll see what happens. It might be a good spot to pause and just see before it returns what it returns. Just pause now and see what it feels like. But I think this is my prediction. It's gonna either be pretty lame, or sometimes it hits a home run. Home runs happen. Grand slams happen. That's why we watch. I think taking the time, this is what I will say, taking the time in plan mode to go through and answer those questions and be thoughtful and spend some pause of like presence and feeling as a user might feel. It's like, to use a baseball metaphor, it's like you're almost guaranteed a base hit, right? Instead of just striking out, which is, if you don't take that time, you get a lot of strikeouts. So it's kind of what you want to optimize for. Take a lot of quick swings, or take some time and get some base hits, some doubles and some triples, definitely some singles, and occasionally a home run. Occasionally a grand slam. We've all seen it happen. All right, so this is going to take a minute because we've just basically said, hey, can you rethink this whole entire app? So take a look. I'm going to take a screenshot of some of these because this is going to be history soon, at least how we know it. We can always revert back in the code if we don't like any of this. So I do like this screen, so I definitely want to capture some. This is probably my favorite screen in the app. I don't think we even toured the screen. This is sort of your profile and settings screen, but basically based on the type of drinks from your journal that you've been ordering or that we've been recommending, based on your taste profile from your onboarding, this is sort of like your label, your character, and a little bit of description about you. So I think this has a lot of fun potential. These are some cards that would be like maybe your regulars or places you visit a lot. I don't know. This is sort of extra, not really needed. But this is cool, these taste signals, because you can go in here and you can edit these, right? So the idea is here, like this is set from your onboarding by answering some questions, which I need to circle back to because I don't know if we're going to stick with that either. Part of me thinks that maybe just an onboarding, say, hey, what are your top 3 cocktails? Just type them in. We can auto-complete them. I think that'd be really fast and give us a really strong signal. I think it's something I need to come back to and test. Anyway, you can come in here and be like, spice and heat, no, I'm not liking that, or I don't like that. I don't know where you got that from. Or maybe you're on a floral kick and you're like, I just really want things to be floral. I'm all into that. So you can kind of move these sliders around. And these are sort of the 10 flavor sort of dials, if you will, that sort of make our prediction engine work. So you can come in here and you can save those. You can see, since floral's my top now, it's giving me a different character here. I'm a garden romantic. Floral edges leads the way with green herbs and clear spirit structure close behind. Best when the drink feels delicate, not precious. So I don't know. There's something here I like. I'm not sure if this is the final form, but I do like it. All right, this is still cooking here. We'll let this cook for a minute. Yeah, and one thing also, just as a product person, is like there can be many versions of this, so it's good to remind myself I don't have to have this fully baked as far as the whole spectrum of features all at once. It can grow as it's released. Release 2 can include a very thoughtful journal application or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So like, there's a tendency sometimes as we make product to keep having cool ideas, which is fun, and then it's so easy now to start to add stuff that you got to kind of be careful to kind of stay on track and stay on your roadmap, if you will. Speaking of, we'll talk about that in another video, but having a roadmap is super helpful and can really help keep you on track and focused, because like I said, it's like there's a million turns you can make, and you're going to see here when this gives us some feedback of how quickly you can kind of make U-turns in a sense. Anyway, there is a lot I like about the screen. I thought this was going to be, I don't know if I'll keep this, but this is nightcap mode was going to be my dark mode. So I don't know, trying to be a little cheeky there, I guess. And I am going to have this. I like apps. Some of my apps have the ability to let me pick my custom icon for my home screen, and I think that's fun. So when we design those, I'm going to have a few variations. These are just placeholders for now that Codex put in here. But you imagine you could change this and then go to your home screen, and that's a different app. I think that's cool. This is about your subscription. This would interact with Apple's subscription payment module thing here. And then feedback. This is in here to kind of give us feedback when I share this with friends. I'm going to let them go ahead and use this for a few weeks to get some feedback of testing on real menus at real places. So anything that's like buggy or weird or whatever, this is a way for them to input that and message me, which will be helpful for sure. I want to make that easy, take away all the friction there, because their feedback is going to be vital for sure. All right, let's see what's happening here. Old deck is no longer the primary result surface. All right, so the deck's going to be gone. Shortlist is coming. Existing recommendation data and a sparse shortlist. I'm going to do a first build now. So the build, you can see the first build here failed because Xcode's server couldn't talk to a simulator runtime. I'm rerunning with elevated core simulator Xcode access so we can get the real compiler errors, if any. All right. Step 3 of 5. This, when you do something big like this, this is going to take some time to cook. There's no doubt about that. There's no rush in this. I'll edit this out, don't worry. This feels like it's too much. We'll shave it down. Oh, it's building something here. Let's see what happens. I'm nervous about this because I think it's going to be drastic. Oh, boy. Oh, okay. Wait a second. I'm not hating this. Right off the bat, I'm going to say I'm not hating this. Yeah, is there some massaging and modifying? Yeah, but do we have something here? Maybe. This is interesting to me. The scan visible. It's a bit intentionally stark, which matches the concept brief. Yes, I'm going to open the debug verdict deck. So I can now verify the show. Okay. Needing a live scan. Oh, so it's going to actually scan it, is what it's saying. I'm going to run it through a test scan in the simulator, and that will get us the results. So let's see what that current is. There isn't currently a visible debug trigger. Oh. So it's got to rebuild it. It had a debug, meaning while we're testing, debugging or testing, it could just load a scan menu instead of having to go in and pick a menu. Or obviously we can't take a photograph in the simulator here. So that wasn't the last one. It must have got rewritten with this new sort of refresh. So it's got it now. And it's going to rebuild. It will close this down, reinstall it on the simulator. Here we go. And then we'll do a real scan. We'll see what the results look like. Oh, just jump right to that. Okay, here we go. Shortlist. Venue unknown. We need some spacing up here. You can kind of see that. Okay, one thing I like here automatically, venue unknown makes me, as a user, if I was using this, it makes me want to tap it and like complete it. Not venue unknown. I'm at Bill's. I'm at the Tiki Bar. It makes me want to, I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I like to make things, it's like begging me to, it's satisfying to complete it. So that's already, I'm liking that. And if you don't, if it doesn't bother you, you're not the person, it's out of the way. Just leave it alone. It can always just stay that. So there's a lot there to like. Header spacing, oh good, see it already caught that. You can see here, header spacing is adjusted. It's gonna do another fix. So this will feel better on the next round here. 3 picks from 7 menu drinks. Not a podium, just, oh. Okay, there's the before scan. Taste memory. There's a lot to look through here, which I'm just gonna let it do its thing before I start clicking around. Okay, home screenshot captured. Now I'm launching debug shortlist preview. Okay, so we're gonna get the results view again. Let's see how it feels now. The header spacing should be fixed. Okay, still not right, but better. Still needs to come down a bit. Shortlist, 3 picks from 7 menu drinks, not a podium. Just the ones worth ordering. Okay, that's weird. Like, are we gonna be poetic there every time? Is that the thing everybody's gonna see in every scan? Definitely gonna capture that as a screenshot and give some feedback on that, because that's weird. Okay, steer the read, meaning, okay, most of you, low regret, surprise. Low regret, surprise. All right, most of you, these look most like you. These are the safer bets. Do they change? Oh shit, sorry. Oh shoot. I guess it's running it again. Okay. I am feeling the visual direction feels, honestly, a lot more interesting to me. I've been looking at those cards too long. I think being a good product designer means the ability to shift gears, you know? We're going to massage this a bit, but I like the initial direction for sure. All right, one final build summary so I can clearly separate this reset work from generated artifacts and the earlier uncommitted polish changes. So it's doing some background code to make sure everything is in the right spots and it knows about things when it touches them again. It's really good about that. It's like a really smart process engineer, and it does that stuff, which is amazing because it's very helpful to keep the project on track. Only untracked. Okay, so let's launch this and see. Let's look at this screen. Okay, order the drink you'll love the most. Scan a giant menu, get a short list you can trust before the bartender comes back. It's funny. I'm gonna take a picture of this and put this in here as well. I'm gonna just get this chewing on. Basically, what would you call this? Like the narrative? Narrative. Oh, it's not right. It doesn't matter. Narrative or paragraph. Text feels off tone and overly descriptive and generic. What is I don't know, let's just send that. Let's get cooking on that as we keep looking. Tonight. Okay, so this is, I guess, I'm feeling, so these are one at a time. You can't sort of bundle these up in this way. So I can't say, trust me, and I want it to be refreshing. I don't know. I agree. The current prose is doing product explainer work. Yes. And it often comes back initially like that. I've located the copy that feels generic. I'm changing those paragraphs into terse fragments. Okay, we'll see what it does. It's going to relaunch for us. But these tags, okay, trust me, meaning trust me or trust the recommend. I don't know. That's not very clear to me as a user. Not sweet. Okay. Refreshing. Low risk. Strange. I don't know. I'm not sure about this. I think maybe there's something here, but maybe these are just, most of these are not the right tags, perhaps. I'm not sure. Taste memory. Oh, interesting. That takes you to your log. Taste memory. Oops. Oh boy. Oh shoot. Oh boy. How do you even get out of this? Oh boy. I'm in a bad loop here, people. Oh, we'll just let it relaunch. Thankfully, it's about to relaunch itself. But okay, yeah. Taste memory. I don't know that I would call it that. So we'll have to take a look at that. Taste memory. Also, okay, let's look at the new copy. Scan menu, get shortlist, order fast. I don't know. Do we even need? I don't know if we even need that every time. It's kind of weird. Shortlist 3 of 7, unranked. Like, do we need to say they're unranked? I don't think so. Low regret. It's weird. None of the, maybe it's just because it's the prototype, but none of the actual things are changing. Every batch has the same drink selection, so that's weird. Cleaned up tone. Okay, yep. Okay, what I'm thinking now is I'm taking a look at this. I'm going to put a screenshot in. I like the scan menu. I kind of like this, how this feels right here. And I think if that's the case, then maybe we don't need this whole toolbar down here. Do we need the old toolbar still? Feels like maybe not. Might need a way to get to profile / settings though. Taste memory. Why does it say quiet? Let me just ask that. What is taste memory and why is it labeled quiet? Okay. I kind of like it though. I kind of like it. Order the drink you love the most. That's another terrible headline. So the copy needs to be updated. That's easy. But The feel, I kind of like it. I don't think we need the older toolbar. No, I don't either. Okay. Remove the bottom toolbar from the scan first home. Put a small profile or somewhere in the top right. Yeah. Taste memory quiet was my placeholder for journal still exists, but it's no longer the product. You're right to question it. It's conceptually muddy. Quiet is explaining internal product strategy, not helping the user. See, that's what I'm saying. A sense of product is important here. You got to massage this thing. You got to really massage it. Because if you don't know that, if you don't recognize that, if you didn't push back here, you'd be shipping product descriptions. You'd be shipping internal product strategy inside your product. That's what I'm talking about. You got to pay attention to that, and you got to push on it. Better labels, profile, taste, history, past picks, learning. I probably replaced the whole taste memory quiet. Top right, taste or profile. Yeah, I like that. I like the idea. It says, let the home be even more ruthless. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's cook it up. All right, we're going to see how this goes, and then I'm going to call it a night because we are at 1:13 in the morning, and I've been doing this for 2 hours, which is super fun. And if you are any part of this, have stuck around, or you've enjoyed or sat through any part of this, welcome and thank you. And I love your feedback, love your comments. Is this helpful? Is this interesting? I'm going to keep doing them just because it's fun for me. It's, again, me tinkering in my garage, you know. So hopefully if it's interesting to you, share. If there's better, easier ways, tips, stuff you see that I'm not using or I've not hacked into or not taken advantage of or leveraged, let me know. I love some tips and tricks and hacks and not necessarily best practices, but just cool stuff you're doing. I would love to learn how to do better. This does feel good. The more I look at it, though, it does sort of have that. It sort of has that vibe coded look to it a little bit. I think the typography up top is helping with that, but I think we got to be careful, and I think we're gonna have to push back on that over the next couple episodes of this as we build this. As you join me as we build this app, this cocktail app. So we'll push back on that a little bit. I think it's missing maybe the distinctive essence. It's close. There's a lot to love, but it's missing that sort of heart, if you will. Compacting context. Okay, so yeah, this happens when you've been in a session for several hours. It starts to build up context, meaning the model gets filled with all the things it's been thinking about, and it needs to basically crush it back down, basically compress it like a trash compactor, keep the essence of what it needs, and then kind of squeeze out the rest to make room so we can keep doing this, so we can keep churning on this together. So anyway, I think it's missing a distinctive piece, you know, sort of that, whether that's the design, whether that's part of the brand, I don't know. But I do like where this is headed. I'm going to clean up the scan home shell now. Old button nav out, taste profile access moved into the scan screen, and no more ambiguous taste memory quiet. All right, good. So we're going to get this cleaned up. Hopefully it takes out these kind of lame instructions here as well. I don't know if I mentioned that. I don't think I did, but if we're going to go ninja and make this thing super sparse, then hopefully it will pick up on that itself. And we really got to fix that headline. Order the drink you'll love the most. You'll love most. That's terrible. That's terrible. Also, maybe, I like the typography, but do you need a headline every time you open this app? Do you need, I don't know. Maybe it changes. Maybe it's a bit more fun. Maybe, I don't know. Not sure yet. This is the art. This is the art and the fun and the journey of product design, baby. Product design. And thank you for sticking with me on this. This has been fun to share, and I'm definitely going to do more. Like I said, I do this most nights, so I'll try to record more sessions and keep you updated on this cocktail app. We're going to let this churn one last time. I want to let you see this result here, and then I think next time I want to start thinking about some of the supplemental screens. What does the journal feel like? Does it connect? Is it part of this app? Should it be in there? And then how do you dial sort of how do you onboard? I think the three favorite cocktails might be the ticket, along with maybe a screen of stuff I never order. I think that might be nice too. Like, hey, I never order anything with mezcal. Don't even ever suggest that for me. I think some of those, with the combination of your three cocktails and stuff I never order, I think that's a pretty powerful engine that can start to make really good predictions. So I want to think through that as well. And then I think some of the brand stuff, like what is the brand of this? I don't know. I like the 80s a lot, so sometimes I'm drawn there. Oh, here we go. We're getting a new build. Okay, the headline is still there. Those weird instructions are still there. I don't know. Neat. Profile. Oh boy. Oh, I see. This is just the old placeholder and then scan. But okay, just, I do like this direction. Okay, a couple things. A couple naming comment leftovers in the, oh, it's gonna rebuild. I think this profile needs to go up top here. Maybe just turns into an icon of some sort. This neat needs to go up top here. So basically these will be horizontally aligned at the top. Then you'll have a whole bunch of empty space here. And I think you push this sections tonight or today. Yeah, maybe that just updates with the time of day. But you push this down to kind of sit anchored above the scan menu button here. And let's see, this could probably, yeah, it feels good for the thumb placement, I think, where you would want to. Yeah, so move these down. So this will become even, I mean, this will become even cleaner. Uh-oh, oh, there it is. Okay, I'm gonna get a screenshot of this. I'm gonna do this. See, this is just the rounds that you just do. This is how it works. You just keep seeing it, feedback, iterate, 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 iterate. Lame instructions and the main headline is not good. Maybe remove it or I don't know. Move profile and move, let's say move profile and neat up to top, align, and move pill section down to be anchored above the scan button. All right, let's hit that over. You got to be articulate when you give it, right? So normally in Figma, you would just go move these things really quick. And I think there's going to be, I think we're not far. Like how we're doing this now feels a little, it's super fun, but I feel like we're going to look back in a year or two and be like, wow, that's crazy that we used to do it that way. Meaning, you know how fast if I could somehow interact with the simulator on screen with my mouse, like it's a Figma screen, and draw and circle and point and click and do some things myself. Like every time I need to change a color, I need to give it the color and tell it to change it. You know, I know there's other, I think Cursor, some other of the vibe coding apps will let you edit more directly. But I don't want to be in that code. I don't want to do that. But I do want to visually, almost like a combination of Figma and Codex is what I envision. I don't know. All right, so this is saying it's going to work on it. Home has no headline and no building and screenshotting because sparse layouts are especially easy to make feel accidentally empty if the anchors are off. That's true. That is true. Let's see what this looks like. Let's see what this feels like. Yeah, so this needs to be pushed way up. There's something that's blocking this. There's some section in code here that is, it will catch it here. It's pretty obvious. I'm sure this is going to, oh, no, it didn't. See, sometimes it surprises you. It looked at that screenshot and thought that was top aligned. I agree, this feels accidentally empty. Back the headline, but it has to be much better. Maybe rotating or cheeky or something to earn its space. Also, let's tell it about these. Also, neat and profile have a large amount of padding above them. Okay, let's get those pushed up and let's bring back some sort of version of that headline that feels balanced and makes it sort of earn its keep. You know, you don't want the same. I don't think every time you load this you want the same dull headline, but I do feel that this probably feels a little empty and sparse, almost like accidentally empty, which we don't want. And I'm not saying the headline's the answer. Maybe we'll see it and we can massage something out of it, but It's almost like taking a step this way and realizing, nope, nope, that's not, let's back up and let's start going this way. And we'll explore some branches that way. So it's sort of what we're doing here. And I know I said we're going to be done 10 minutes ago. Let's just finish this together, okay? Let's finish this and then we will call it quits. Here we go. How does it look? Oh, jeez. Okay. It still didn't move our top header up here, right? There's still a huge gap, which we're going to have to be explicit about. It needs to check the code because it's not realizing that. And this is centered, which I don't love. I'd rather have this top aligned. Yep, see, it did catch that. So it's going to fix the header, which is good. And I don't think I want this rotating. Like, this shouldn't be a scrolling marquee. Not a marquee, but like a, whatever you call this. Maybe once per open is what I meant. Not like a scrolling banner. Make the menu smaller. That's kind of cool. Don't guess at the menu. Pick fast, regret less. It's direct. 3 good bets, no essay. Well, all right, let's see what happens here. I'm going to reload this and see if we have our header fixed up top now. Oh, too far. Shoot. Everything got moved up. Even this is too far now from the bottom. See if it catches it. It's taking a screenshot. Will it notice what it needs to notice? Oop, yep, too far. Too far. Collided with the status bar. I'm adding back just the safe area offset, keeping it pinned instead of letting the whole layout drift. I appreciate that. Rebuilding and screenshotting again. Okay, let's get the fresh batch in here. Let's go ahead and check my usage. I like to check this. 84% usage, and weekly I have 26% usage left. And that resets today at 7. Or I should say tomorrow for me, really. But so I used about probably 75%-ish of my weekly total in Codex on my current plan. I think I'm on the $100 a month plan. Okay, well, that's good. That actually feels pretty good up here, by the way. The rotating transition can briefly stack 2 headlines, which looks messy. No. We're going to stop this. We're going to stop this. Do you see this is, it caught this on a screenshot, and this is just the animation fading out, and it just took itself on a side quest to say, oh, I'm going to go fix that, and that's not really an issue at all. So you kind of got to pay attention, because it can go down some weird tangents, man. It really can. Let's give it another screenshot here. I think that tends to help. And we'll just say, tag and scan button to be anchored at the bottom of the screen. There's a huge gap underneath it right now. Oh, that was my dictation text. I don't know if that just cut out on the audio or not. All right. Move the tag and scan button to be anchored at the bottom of the screen. There's a huge gap underneath it right now. Okay, good. And anchor the headline underneath the header section. Also, can we come up No, let's just tell it when to use. We're not 3. No, that's a bad one. Let's see. Make the menu smaller. Anchor the headline underneath the header section. Let's just send that for now. That's enough. We'll see how it feels, and then we'll come back and adjust. I feel like it's moving pretty quick right now, so sometimes when it gets in this rhythm, I like to just knock out some stuff really quick. I don't know. It could just be me, but sometimes I swear it gets like it's moving quick, and I like to take advantage of that. See what happens here. Here we go. Oh, okay. It's telling you what it's doing. Some stuff about the code. A vertical stack with 2 flexible spacers. So every tweak keeps producing a different weird. Oh, see. So that's good. It's saying that there's some old stuff in here, and it's finding that there's some weird code that's making it do weird stuff. So that what it is doing to fix it is counteracted by the old code. So it's just found that, and it's going to replace it with 3 fixed zones: top header, top headline, bottom action cluster. So this should get much cleaner, and we can move on from tweaking with this. And this is another good example of going back and forth. I think this is our 3rd or 4th time on sort of this layout. And it's just every time you get a little closer. That's why I call it massaging. Almost like you start out with this sort of pile of clay, and you're forming it into whatever shape you want it to be. But it takes a lot of massaging, if you will, to get it where you want it to go. Just part of it. Yeah. 3 good bets, no essay. That's funny. The new structure is in. I'm building now. If it compiles cleanly, I'll launch and check whether those anchors finally feel like real layout decisions. All right, this is the last one. Then I'm going to call it quits for tonight. I'm getting a little tired here, guys. But thank you. Honestly, thanks for watching and sticking with me. And please leave a comment. Let me know if this is cool or interesting, or if there's something you want to see. See, there's something else weird about it. It will catch it, though, because obviously we specified it. We were very explicit with it, so it's going to grab a screenshot. It's going to keep working.